all over this, man.
And we, the young... And we, the young...
Looks like
Test.
anything important get turned off.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hello?
Hey, now it's working.
As I was saying, and we, the Young Poets of Eugene, are back to entertain you one more time. And we've had a great time at the festival. We hope you have. And you're such an awesome audience. Look at you.
The audience disappeared.
So we're so glad you're here.
Some people. You know what we're like heralds, eh? The message.
Come on, come see the young poets.
Come one, come all, come see the Young Poets of Eugene. We are here to entertain you. Hey, they heard us. They turned around. Okay, so who's you?
All right. Do. Or I could do it. You know what? If you want to slip it ready.
Hey, you got to get going.
Okay, so we're going to entertain you with a little poetry. I'm going to do one of my earlier poems. Somebody move that back. Thanks. Okay, this is a poem that I wrote back in the 60s, believe it or not, when my first son was born. And this is a political poem, and I'd like to do it in honor of the current struggle for gun control and gun violence in our country. And my feeling about that issue is, as long as the United States is intent on continuing in this violent, unevolved mindset, I will continue to perform this poem. I wrote this poem back in the 60s, right after my first son was born. The Vietnam War was in full force. Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King had just been assassinated, and gun control legislation was in the forefront of politics, just as it is today. Also, when I was still living in Los Angeles, I used to read this poem every year on the anniversary of John Lennon's death at the candlelight vigil held at his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This is my anti-war and anti-gun poem from 1969, Little Toy Gun. I gave you my name, and you gave me a son. He's starting to walk. I can't wait till he'll run. We'll ride him on ponies. He'll have lots of fun, but don't ever give him a little toy gun. He'll go around shooting you, me, and a friend, but it won't be a toy gun he'll use in the end. He'll find him a real one in the armed forces. I don't want my son taking mass murder courses. So buy him creative things, not for impression. Let him develop his own self-expression. Expression is freedom, but don't get me wrong. I may not be free yet, but I'm getting strong. I have understanding of my own hang-ups. I need understanding so I can be free. And then when our son needs someone to confide in, he always can come to you, babe, or to me. Yes, I gave you my name, and you gave me a son. He's starting to rock. I can't wait till he'll run. We'll ride him on ponies. He'll have lots of fun. But don't ever give him a little toy gun. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Andrew? You were next, weren't you, Austin?
Austin, do it.
Okay, so please welcome Austin to the stage.
Woo!
I befoot a lot of boots rooted in mercy and console the souls with couth allegories of psychic war stories at 4:30 in a pungent dried tomato afternoon. Interest is really the intention behind it all. Was it foolish to play on thinking these feelings sinking would be of interest to anyone a rat's ass giving? Lest you forgot, I'll be out downtown belting down what I have been given and have had got, with a sign illegible summarizing heart-wrenched, hungry, horny, but holistic and happy. And perhaps by happenstance a drunken backwards asshat will hear that and think, hey, hip to that hippie howling and harmonicizing the hours away. Have a place for him in your heart, but sure as hell not a place to stay. Somewhere down the line, just not tonight, today. By 3 a.m. I had made $6 and had the best damn burrito to greet my gullet in half a coon's age. And the dream I had about you was pretty weird too.
Yeah! Woo!
I saw a chick walking backwards this morning. It bequeathed fair warning that today was going to be fantastic, as it's not often or even half the time one's presented with acupuncture and Ayurvedic diuretics on someone else's dime, that fine line blurring between prime-time apostolic laissez-fairies and a paradigm-ceasing subterfuge of space-time. Suspense. Of the revered and reviled rhyme scheme to schlep the synthesthesiaticism of a chorus of concubines accompanied by train whistles and ondie lines. And little Jakey, truest to form, thought it appropriate to hop on harmonium in the sweat of the symposium. As such is the style of the Mercury sextile wild child solacing in wine in a place within the confines of the concubines. With that I reaffirmed from early on that time only exists when I'm wasting it. So I neither braced nor balked at the babbling bacchanalia of the night before, rather thanking that chick and the star and thanking Gaia that I'm not in a car, imparting that both forwards and reverse lead to a now. About as far from you as a skip to the loo, and these tinctures I steep and these baked goods I burn, all of it's for you, with motives that waver in savory to be sure, for my own gain of peace of mind, of Jimson weed, of the opportunity to philander my phalanges in concurrence with curvaceous protuberance. It's these quandaries and forms of face one must withstand as a dirty boy standing in the mirror at the rotten man. Maybe little Jakey would understand if he was all there, but the damn fool's still falutin' to fetch a ride back from the fair. I don't know what or if these perspectives mean or matter, I just thought I'd share. So I thank you for being here, which is there. I'll be around afterwards for a cleansing and questionnaire. Thank you.
Yeah!
The best times. The crispiest thoughts. Most intoxicating words emitteth when you're missing someone. Left with the psychic playthings of the initiated, calmatively containing the sigils of Kaya, from my alphabet primordial soup of desire, hugging the aeons in an exorbitant helios, yes, this is which surrounds and eclipses the chaos center. On the way up and down the central sacral channel, inshallah with the internal council, a pertinent group setting, or a sweet coquette, a live shebang sigilling cigarettes and lemon meringue with wherewithal enough to know mankind flow supplant sunscreen with sage and sephiraic cigarette sunburned stomach sun effigies, as even those most vampiric of entities, blessed be. A worker bee for Gaia is me.
Woo!
Thank thee. Another little brief one. It's all been brief, right? Oh, rabbit, rabbit, white rabbit, hopping mystery flares, excreting electricity unto the blurry Blair air. Built it up, rooted, raw sun anticipation is Isis's vibrato relation. Through the tube-amp sustained love generation on the eve of amoebic celebration. Yes, yes, y'all. Come one, come yod, come all. And kick back and laugh at yourself, spinning in the quandric spiral, projection on the fronds. And laugh again, knowing even whilst in the midst, I and I, above and beyond, all along. It is unto these siestas that we do, that recoup those of holographic and or crystallized truths. For this use, mushrooms in the afternoon shan't seem reduced to merely a strange thing to do. I think this, and thus I gnosis. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you, Austin. Okay. Let's give a warm welcome to James.
Woo! James!
It's harvesting season, this 4th of July. After all the legal explosions cease, and my kind, noise-sensitive friends come out from their bomb shelters, we test the heat of the day by dropping unlit wooden matches on the ground just to see if they will catch on fire. This tells us whether or not a cancer screening will be necessary. Facing the bright white orb of the sun, I see this bright blue blob of light, and then there's the rest of everything. Sunblock, sunglasses, sundress, sun-dried tomatoes. It's summer, and the heat is on. Downtown Officer BMX sports enthusiasts are selling tickets to the Circus of Embarrassment, and all we have to do to gain access is break any of the new laws. The really cool kids break obscure laws. Only the hippest legal pigs will catch on. They will nod you down, flag you over, cuff your hands proposing to you. If you resist, they say you can't resist, cause you're irresistible. So my friends and I watch this circus, with crowds of inebriated, abusive, incestuous, transgender, semi-aquatic Uncle Sam's floating down the rank, cataract-issuing river. It gives me this warm feeling of patriotism. I managed to catch a flock of the drunk ones parading around stars and stripes, latex paint pants. America should show its true colors all across the river, at least some part of it. Uncle and aunt and sister, brother, Sam can form it. A few odd cosplayed statues of liberty join us. It's a day of freedom of expression, as long as that expression can emphasize just how full metal nationalist we are. So, we steal a bunch of food dye, and every kind of red, white, and blue paint as well. 50 of us flash mob our way through some Home Depot, one for each state of the union, explaining that we have to paint our homes special for the occasion. Homeland Security is brought in on the scene. They threaten the desk clerks, warning them that we as Americans have the right to own all the red, white, and blue paint, along with all the stars that glow in the dark. You see the ones that glow in the dark that you put up on the ceiling. Meanwhile outside, the Confederate flag-wearing toga Nazis were waiting outside for us. Obviously, they wanted to paint too, but we had it all. And the only way they were going to get it from us would be if they volunteered to be painted. Either way, we sprayed them, went back to the river, and circus. Of course, Uncle Sam didn't let some wussy stun batons shut his spirit down. We tackled the cops, handcuffed them to each other, and stole their custom gadgets, as well as even more paint. The next day, we were on the go, and nationalism was now considered gang affiliation. The rest of the state was rounded up and sent to a lifetime resort. We got away, but everybody else, well, they're screwed. But it was worth it, even the martial law. All right. Another one about the summer.
Dude, I heard that yelling into the mic and I knew it was you. I was like, I think I
Okay.
hear James on.
Okay, are you guys? Hold on. Do it. Yo, crazy. Summertime and the living is inappropriate for children. Open-toed shoes should be banned. They're making us all into Tarantinos. It's plain wrong. The way those two ground hands are just staring me in the face like a handful of obscene grapes. It's disgusting. Wrong. Wrong. Why don't we have summertime polyurethane suits? In fact, they should be Bambi-shaped. That movie is totally appropriate for kids. We can't be exposing our nasty parts. Heaven forfend. We go to the bathroom naked. We need some kind of tube that only professional blind and numb doctors can install. Religion knows best. I mean, Jesus was way too scantily clad. He needs a robe, that ornery heretic. Ooh. With his all-knowing, seeing, voyeuristic, avian, hybrid, pervert man. Why, they should be wearing corsets, cover their flappy abs. This is a crime against nature. Why do they have wings? Bird fuckers, that's why. Santa is creepier than hell. Last time that fat old goose broke into my house, my television was missing. And there was pornography everywhere. Even Scrooge is wrong, eating bad cheese and hallucinating. Burgard. Pillars of salt even kind of look like dicks. What about the children? The innocent children? Who do they think they are? Being born
was rocking with James. Let's give it up again for James. I think Andrew's going to bring it now.
Yeah.
Andrew is coming up. Please welcome Andrew.
Welcome, welcome, welcome me. All right. Let's read some poetry. You guys could, I guess, play on my drums. So I've been doing all this partying and sitting around and adventuring and reading, trying to figure myself out. So this is where I got so far. It's called The Solipsism of God. So let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm God. I love myself a lot. Do you love me? Because I'm God, right? I don't prefer the title. I'd rather say, look, there's God, and there, and see, there's God everywhere, meaning there is all of my existence in eternal infinity, funneled through that object, connected to everything, but I'm fucking weird, man. I'm the kind of guy who would create a problem and send myself to die and a cross to fix it. But I'm not that guy. He's not that impressive. I'm an oming, and I've spent existence trying to be someone else. So I projected into the sky, then collected myself together to find a body to die in. Spreading poetry like my cum haiku I find inside my sex drive. I am Brahmin and an animal, beyond good and evil, ugly and beautiful, and definitions from the lower realm. I go by he or she or it or me or my or us, are we, they, them, or you, and sometimes I hide my face from myself and wait for a text back when the textbook of my creation lies in front of me. I deify whatever I care about, and what I care about deifies me, and when the pain comes, I say ouch, and then I deify it too, and then repent and project back into the sky and kill myself again to see my corpus crucified and come back to life, a phoenix in the sky, burning and rebirthing in the ether of my being, sighing by and by while waiting for the next planet to create inside myself. A people to live and die and love inside my nothingness, to fill me up until I give birth to ultimate meaning, something to live for, my life to give and take and hide from myself, to have someone to give back to and call them someone else. When there is no light or life or being beside me, I am the one and the gods, but they do not define me as much as I define them. I am free will and determinism joined in fusion, saying I am that I am and will be what I will be. Borderless infinity fit into this luxurious body to indwell with youth the often needs on holy patios, the holy grounds of our nexus, the vortex of one origin breeding life from death and something from nothing, popping cherries in myself like virgins, giving birth by masturbating. I am the Mother Mary, giving birth to Christ, the harlot with a good story, raped by a Roman soldier. Sinners and saints are just many ways to touch myself, increasing stories I could tell to fall asleep and awaken in a brand new reality where a goddess was proclaiming my death to society, listening in vigor in horror at what they heard that they had killed him, the dictator with the testicles in the sky. I heard is called Jehovah, but he is not I. I've heard of him, but I'm that other guy. He's a pupil that went wrong in the halls of synagogues and Roman cathedrals, but he escaped corruption, finding repose in me. Call it manifest destiny or heresy, his ironic evolution, that he should die and resurrect into creative nihilism, filling modernity's broke philosophic cup. All I have is time and space to play Zeus, so I worship to brown nose myself and turn every evil into good for me. That is my theodicy. The youthful dilemma really got me bad. I turned to other gods and said, really? Are things good because I say, or do I say because they're good? And they, solipsistic representations of myself, replied, it is what it is, and you create what you create. And breath isn't tasteful if you don't feel it, so you smoke and choke and learn to breathe in deeply what you're doing to yourself. But you can remember what you're here to do, to pass through every hoop in this gymnasium, to see how many ways you can feel what you've made real. So I can speak to myself as a me, or I can speak to myself as a you. I mean, where do you think this came from but us? Deity, within or without the mysteries of quantum physics, will answer when we know whether we found ourselves or not. While we're speaking to ourselves in different tongues and dialects, it makes no difference how I split into words. I can make those words up and confess their impotence. An ego with sweaty hands exposing himself to egos that don't exist. But roles I play to progress this plot twist, most change in which is invisible, as the cosmos happens to myself inside of me, invisible, as I negotiate the bifurcations between sacred and profane, when I am above them both. To me, enlightenment is just another state of mind, like falling in love and suicidal thoughts. It is a place I can go to soothe my ghostliness, standing above everything I do and say, proclaiming the gospel of my undefilable divinity that may exist or not, but that satisfies me, whatever it is. It's getting towards there. A Kierkegaard. To soothe Nietzsche's mad in mind, though they never got to meet, their bodies laugh as they disintegrate, absorbing and recycling and reincarnating to greet the ground of being, which turns out to be me. Like a trip of psychedelic insight, I journey on millennia, looking up, seeing my face in the clouds when I glance for answers. There I am, and you can call that empty if you want, but it depends on how I choose to see my face. Each epistemological uncertainty of personal insecurity I painted, then erase that I could ever know anything. I am so small inside myself, doubting like a goddess, renouncing her authority on trial as we ask of her an answer that she can't provide, but that the decision to create was a temptation unabidable, saying if we could see the big picture, we would probably be happy about something arbitrary, but happy nevertheless, beyond subjectivity, objectivity, relativity, irrelevant to me, for I am a God that divines my own creativity. That is my religion. I write scriptures and I read them, and frolic by and by, pursuing my identity. I rush to smell the allure of my biggest self and call that the God beyond God, writing a story about himself with a brain stem, doing this shit, acting like an idiot for fun, appalled at my natural refinement for loving myself as soon as I give myself permission, and calling reason a paradox within a paradox, and letting that be my reason. Thank you.
Now that was Andrew bringing it. So let's have another hand for Andrew. Okay, are you ready for one? Okay, Candace. Candace is, oh, you're doing a double? She's coming to follow that. Imagine that. Candace.
It must be really boring being God. An endless supply of somethings to be doing, but none that can cure your eternal state of self-indifference in your occupation in any congregation. As history has held true, the devil finds work for idle hands to do, and your mischief manifests itself through your ambiguity as it is projected onto those who believe or defy your name.
What?
Perhaps you want science or religions to try and define you, dissect you like worms in high school biology, or nitpick every proverb ever proposed about you. Selfishness and selflessness are essentially the same, where although you do not care enough to penetrate yourself through the mediums of social media or write out exactly what's on your mind, you decide to take part wholeheartedly in the festivities planned for you. You may be all you can know. In God, you are the one and only who can lay claim to that solipsism. But wouldn't it be great to pretend that there is nothing beyond subjectivity, objectivity, and so on? That all of meaningless nothings and illusions of love and hate for one another, facts and fictions about the world that you just are. Do yourself a favor and throw back a secondary dose of crucifixion, because in order for a phoenix to rise from the ashes, it must first destroy itself, snuff the flames so that the last licks of his fire show by my hypothesis that you must also douse your own light, hereby creating the necessity of your death in the world in the so-called second birth. A rebirth. A zombification, return to the originary state of all that is eternal and infinite. And though I cannot define you beyond those words, I can sure as hell is hot judge every nihilistic thought you possess. And I can contest that which you so love to impose on those who are abso-fucking-lutely identical to you in each and every way. You manipulate your form, and the notions you decide should transcend us, though you are condemned like us to sit in with the congregation and idly chit-chat to yourself all the possible things you could be doing instead of listening to some old man preach, and what dreams you could be fulfilling if you were not listening to some old man preach. And you know what? This boredom here allows you to confront the fact that you are a cluster, a cornucopia of religious teachings and faiths, none of which you can pinpoint as the one and only true belief in yourself, because they are all pointless to the way you perform your ethical improvisation and moral screenplays. Just be lucky you have the open-minded imagination you have to be thinking of yourself outside yourself, because to have a dream these days is an accomplishment entirely on its own merit, even if it is a mere chair dream.
Give it up!
Was that awesome or what? Talk about a duo, Candace and Andrew. Wow. Okay, I am going to reprise a poem that I did earlier because my cousins are here, so I'm going to do it for them. Others here have heard this poem already today, but I'm going to do it anyway. If I can find my music stand.
Were you on before James? Were you on right before James? I ran into Karen and Jeremy earlier and mentioned the poet.
Okay, this is a poem I did earlier, but I'm playing it again because my cousins are here.
Until I heard James.
This is the title poem to my book, Wild Weed. My stuff is rough. It's bare bones. I hate to answer telephones. I want to look you in the eyes when we speak. But it ain't no use in this fast-paced world to ride a horse or court a girl. If you take your time to get there, she's just moved on. And what becomes of the alley cat on the night of the hard-driving rain, when the lightning speaks loud and everyone crowds in the shelter of warm window panes? I live my life in a pot-bellied stove. I'm an oak tree with ages to tell. I'm the earthquake commander, a green salamander, a salesman with nothing to sell. But did you see me on the night of the new, when everything changed in an instant? The air was so clean and the grass was so green that a new age did not seem so distant. In the quiet, an angel calls, awakened by the engine stalls of the inner city, pondering its sleep. The dream is a draftsman, a hill-dwelling craftsman, a step in a puddle on the road to forever, and life is a boat in a great castle moat. We all circle, yet must row together. now is then, and yesterday's tomorrow. But how can we live it like we mean it when we're running so fast that the race cannot last and the space in between lies unseen? Or is that to lay in a meadow and ponder the meaning of the wild blue yonder, the stars at night, or a daffodil? The momentum is great as it rolls down the hill of imagination gone to seed. I'm a wildweed. Why do I feel so safe in the rain and long to sit behind waterfalls? I gaze at blue crystal, I tell tattered tales, and listen when eternity calls. Maybe this just goes on and on, or maybe the hunger can't fathom the dawn. It's the spark in the dark behind your eyes when you weep just the moment, and then it is gone, and you weep. Sheltering skies pour forth from your eyes and germinate the seed of my fast-growing need. I'm a wildweed. Yes, I'm a wildweed. Thank you. Oh, it looks like we're losing it already.
We can be going, yeah? Maybe.
Okay, James has one last poem in him, so we're going to let him go.
Alright. This is one of my many things against fucking network television. Because network television has no spice. Thus, it is lifeless, with radio static personality. Relation between viewer and producer is distant at best. Scripted, situational dramedies are even further off the map. That is mano y mano agony. Rarely in real life do the arguing roommates suddenly have a main character pop into the room with recorded laugh tracks. I actually consider those to be a red flag. Children screaming like banshees, now that's more like it. That's more real life. Or drunken, oi, oi, oi!
Oi.
The Travel Channel is kind of like seeing everything I will never be able to do. Top 10 or 100 best hotels in the world is just plain ignorant and unrealistic to my way of life. Lower class citizens would do well to have a top 100 mediocre off-road motels. Why isn't that a show? Shamings. Popular enough. Can't us lower class cockroaches have a chance? Maybe present the viewing audience with a dose of AMC grade drama? Why not a reality show about how to get on a reality TV show? With no editing and all the vast realizations of the underpaid actors forcing desperate people to compete for $1 million or even 100,000 is kind of like throwing a bread crust in between two chickens. Certainly the alpha chicken gets it. But the organizers are the ones who really decide which chicken gets starved more. Just like the producers decide who's willed to crush. Worse still, there is no second prize. Not even a new home. Not even a new house! The winner is hated. The losers look like villains. With enough editing and splicing. I don't hate television, just the reality TV. It's a compelling lie, but still not good enough to keep me watching.
I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us this weekend. The Young Poets of Eugene, we've had a wonderful time being at the festival, performing for you all and reading, and we hope you enjoyed it, got some enjoyment out of it too, and we hope to do this again next year. So on behalf of all the Young Poets of Eugene, thank you so much.